Welcome back to yet another exciting episode of season 2 of Brand Talkies, a Kada BT show, where we dive deep into the world of marketing, branding, and everything in between. I'm your host, Tamanna Chanana, and today we have an exceptional guest who's not just a marketing wizard, but also a seasoned storyteller with a journey that is nothing short of fascinating. Before we dive into her incredible story, let me introduce you to Swati, a marketing maven with over a decade of experience that spans across some of the most iconic brands. From kicking off her career at Idea Cellular to making waves at Flipkart, then soaring high at TVF, MX Player, and Disney Plus Hotstar. Swati has now found herself thrilling in B2B SaaS space at Sprouts.ai. Welcome to the show, Swati.
Thank you so much, Tamanna. Thanks a lot for having me today. And I'm truly honored to be a part of this show. You're doing phenomenally well. And I hope I do justice to your format and I'm able to answer your questions.
Yeah.
So let's shoot.
Definitely, definitely. And thank you so much for accepting to be a part of this show. And people like you have been there and sharing their set of stories. It has been incredible knowing your set of experience. So thanks a lot. But hey, Swati isn't just about marketing. There's so much more to her. So to kick things off, I have some funny questions to break the ice. It's usually called a buzzer round where I ask you some questions around you and your personality. And we usually tend to have one word or one sentence, but we never get that. So, to start with, Swati, you have worked with some big brands in the industry. If you could swap lives with any marketing mascot like Pillsbury, Doughboy, or Jico Jeko for a day, who would you choose and why?
Okay. That's actually an easy one because I have a favorite mascot and that's the
Oh,
Amul girl. I'll
oh,
be the Amul girl, right? I'm in love with her. Uh, she's so up to date. She's trendy.
mhm.
She's very opinionated. She has an opinion,
Yes,
and she has a funny, amazing way to put that opinion across.
yeah,
And she's a very lovable character as well.
right.
Yet very strong-willed and strong-minded. So yeah, I'll be the moon girl.
I think this is the best answer so far that I've received for mascot. I was actually about to ask you, was it a Disney character since you have worked with them? But I think it's amazing to take a reference.
Hands down, a mool girl, hands down. I mean, like, I'm in love with her general knowledge as well and her take on things. It's just too good. She's just amazing.
Yeah, it's too relatable, right? As a person, as a woman, as a girl,
Yes.
it's she's just goody good. Okay, coming to the next question. You have got an impressive resume, but let's be real. Did you ever have a moment during your corporate stints where you thought maybe I should just run away and join the circus?
Like too many times. But I think if I were to like really think about it, when was the time when I thought, oh, this is as bad as a circus maybe, and probably circus would be easier,
Yeah,
was during my sale days when I was working with Idea postpaid sales. And in Karnataka region, which is like an entire state in India,
yeah.
I was the only girl in like 150, 200 all men sales team.
Mhm.
So, and even before that, when I reached Karnataka, I had a small stint in sales itself,
Okay.
which was in Saharanpur.
Mhm.
So, I'm talking about 2011, 12, when, like, you can just imagine the state of public washrooms back then. It's not great today,
Yeah,
but we still have a lot of malls, a lot of cafes, and a lot of joints, fancy places where you can go and pee at least.
yeah.
But yeah, so I've like gone and used the washroom in one of the smallest houses in a village in the outskirts of Saharanpur because I was like that was my area, that was my beat, and that was the area I was supposed to cover. And
Yeah.
I've explained how to do a recharge as a business opportunity to
Mhm.
like a small perchun ki dukan seller in a
Oh,
small village.
yeah.
So yeah, I think doing all of that was fun. It's so much so that I was told by my like the zonal head in UP. I was told that, hey, like if somebody people here have this habit of asking, how much money are you making? How much
Mhm.
does your company pay you to do this?
Mhm.
And they'd be genuinely concerned because you're a girl doing this.
Yeah.
But don't tell them that whatever you're making. And I'm going in my head, I'm thinking, hey, I'm not making that much. Like they're like, what, paying me like I think I was making 25-30,000 that time
Mm-hmm.
a month. And I was like, is that amount that big?
Mm-hmm.
But he informed me that, that you're not supposed to say that, because it's so big from a villager's point of view, from
Yeah.
somebody who's staying in
Right.
the village, you might
Mm-hmm.
just get kidnapped. And
Yeah.
oh my God, that stayed with me. I mean, this is a story I narrate and I talk about in a fun way.
Yeah.
But that, and then I moved to Karnataka, wherein Kannada was the regional language, and that's how sales happened. When you're in sales, you gotta know the regional language.
Yeah.
But other than Uta Aita, which essentially translates to let's go have food, I
Mm-hmm.
haven't picked up any Kannada yet. I managed. So yeah, I think the entire sales stint, that
Mm-hmm.
too in telecom,
Yeah.
is when I truly thought that if I
Mm-hmm.
can do this, might as well just go try my luck in a circus or somewhere else. I can even start driving the bus. I can do anything if I can do this.
But these are the fun facts of those good old times, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Awesome. So coming back to the next question, since you are all about trying new strategies, tell us, have you ever tried to apply a marketing strategy to your personal life, like an A/B testing dinner menus or running a focus group on your weekend plans? Has that ever
Wow.
happened?
I think it's not just marketing strategy as such, but over your lives kind of mingle when you're a professional working. So
Hmm.
negotiation tactics, negotiation is the same. I mean, whether you're doing it with a corporate vendor, or whether you're doing it with the family, that where do you need to go for the next vacation,
Yeah.
it's just the same game at the end of the day. How much
Hmm.
you're willing to give and take.
Hmm.
And with kids also, calling their bluffs when they're like kind of like, recently, just today only, my daughter was just making up this whole story, and when to, like, when it's a story, when she really needs something.
Hmm.
I think it's just that you gain lessons from your personal life, which
Hmm.
you apply to corporate,
Yeah.
and you gain lessons from corporate life, which you apply in your personal lives. So I think it's not just one from the other,
Yeah.
corporate to personal, it's also the other way around as well.
That's so true. The day I became a manager, my mom was like, "You might be a manager at your workplace. Still, you are a kid for us. You have to do stuff." I was like, "Oh God, this will
But then
never
you
change."
thought about it, like being a manager, you do pick up certain things, and
Yeah,
now you're like, okay, you don't think I'm the manager, but I
yeah,
still know how to go about things with you now, because I've picked up some things, how to do things with my seniors and with my juniors.
yeah,
Now I know how to, like, kind of get things done at home as well.
yeah. So at times, I believe that you bring your personal and professional life one way or the other, maybe the learnings or things that you see. But yeah, amazing, amazing knowing these stories. All right, now that we have had some fun, let's get to the business. Swati, your journey is truly inspiring, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more. So let's dive into the world of marketing with questions that dig deeper into your experience and insights. The first question I have for you today is you have transformed from freelancing to running a digital agency and now thrilling in the corporate B2B SaaS world. What's the biggest shift in the mindset that you have experienced between these roles?
I think it has taught me humility to start with, like
Okay.
made me a lot more humble.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen all the different sides of the table. I've been on the side wherein I was working with Disney,
Yeah.
Hotstar, and MX Player, wherein I was talking to vendors, and I was the buyer and they were the sellers.
Yeah.
I worked as a consultant in my own agency when I was the one who was convincing the bigger players that,
Mm-hmm.
hey, buy from me, buy my product.
Mm-hmm.
So having seen both sides, and now in B2B also,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same game, but it's made me a lot more humble, I think. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I see that missing with a few folks who have been in the bigger corporates for the longest time, because
Yeah.
they've only been on one side of the table, wherein they have been the ones telling that, hey, I'm whether I'll pay you or not pay you, or I
Mm-hmm.
have 10 offers on the table, and they have the budget. So the one with the budget, the one with the money, is definitely the more powerful one on the table.
Yeah.
That person is the one who has to be impressed. But
Mm-hmm.
having been on both sides, like having been the person who with the budget and the one who wants a chunk of that budget, it has really taught me humility, because now I can see where the other person is coming from.
Yeah.
Also, it has also taught me how to judge vendors,
Mm-hmm.
how to work with them,
Right.
how to literally get the best out of them. So
Mm-hmm.
having run the agency myself, I know for a fact that when you're working with an agency,
Mm.
it's very important that you kind of have an idea about the objective you're trying to solve for, which is contrary to why you get an agency. Like, I am
Mm.
getting an agency for digital marketing because I do not want to spend time on that or
Mm.
any XYZ thing. I want somebody else to take care of it.
Yeah.
But you need to have some knowledge about it,
Mm.
because the agency's time will be spent on you as per your knowledge.
Yes.
They will not give unequally divided attention to all of their clients. They will give more attention to the client who knows slightly more than the one who does not. Unfortunately, that's the reality. So, having seen that, I think I have a lot of learnings,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I so that I can basically work as either. And
Mm-hmm.
another very big shift in mindset is that I am no longer scared about losing a job.
Good.
So that's the most important thing. Like, I've worked in corporate and I've done my own thing. So that gives me the confidence that as long as I have the skill, I have something to offer, and I have some skill that I can give to offer to somebody to enhance their business,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to worry about a job. I can get money. Money will come.
Yeah.
So yeah, two things: humility and
Mm-hmm.
confidence on myself,
Mm-hmm.
that if not this, something else will work out.
That's a good thing. And as individuals, I think that is the key in the AI tech savvy world that we are living right now. So I have a follow-up question for you. You
Mhm.
mentioned that your corporate experience taught you to get stuff done.
Hmm.
You share an example of a challenging marketing goal you have achieved against all odds.
Okay. I think the firsts are always difficult. Your
Mm.
first big logo
Yeah.
client, your first big deal, which is a leak change, like if you're
Mm.
billing in say maybe $1,000, then the $50,000 deal.
Yeah.
So that leak change kind of a deal. The firsts are very important,
Right.
and I find a thrill in doing firsts. That's
Okay.
like my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And very funny story. Somebody, an astrologer once said this to me, that, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? You've got it written in your life. You will be handed jobs which people will, like, your seniors and bosses will not be able to find a solution to that. Let her figure it out. And
Right.
it's okay. I think that's been my life. Forget the astrologer, but that's the reality of my life, because I also truly also enjoy doing these first.
Yeah.
So I think all of my life's first will come into that category.
Hmm.
However, if I were to choose one and talk about it, that would be with MX Player. So
Okay.
with MX Player, why? Because until now, MX, obviously, we know about branded content,
Yeah.
and TVF was the one who revolutionized branded content, wherein, creating content around the brand,
Hmm.
integrating the brand in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
And we got the first deal for MX Takatak with a client. But all the other ancillary services that MX was doing, one of them being games,
Mm-hmm.
was monetizing that with just ads. So
Right.
games predominantly there were just ads integration. We just playing the ads and it was ads revenue.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought that, hey, there's this client that we were doing a branded deal with, which I'd gotten on the table. And I said, hey, why don't we sell them a branded game?
Mm-hmm.
And that was something which people were like, what? Branded game? I mean, what are we thinking? I
Yeah.
said something very simple. I mean, like it's just simple user games, right? We just need
Mm.
to have an integration there
Yeah.
which excites people, and we have so many users on the games as well. Why
Right.
just show them the ad and let them earn those coins, the typical way how games operate? Show
Hmm.
them the ad, you earn some coins, and because the ad is non-skippable, you take money from the brand. And I was like, let's take it up a notch. Let's make an entire game just for them.
Nice.
And I had a discussion internally. The games team was excited. The tech team was excited, and they said, "Oh my God, this is a whole new way of monetization in terms of branded content, like
Right.
branded games."
Mm-hmm.
And we started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we made decks and decks out of it. And suddenly, to all the big companies whom we were talking to around just content, we
Mm-hmm.
started slapping in those 2, 3 extra slides of, you can get a branded game too. And
Wow.
it can be something as simple as, you have these cans, those games like wherein you need to just click and the ball goes and the cans roll. So the
Yeah.
cans will be Pepsi or Coke branded or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like these kind of things.
Yeah.
So suddenly there was this whole revenue channel that got introduced. And these are the kind of things that excite me.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the difficult things as well, because you need to convince a lot of people to come on the table with you.
Yeah.
And if there is too much of, so much to say, people don't want to do something, suddenly you can't
Mm-hmm.
do it alone in an organization.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
you need people around you with
Yeah.
similar mindsets, who are
Mhm.
willing to take a bet, who are willing to risk, who are willing to, like,
Yeah.
put in time and energy into it. So
I
yeah,
can
I'm
think all this in because I go through all the similar things whenever I join a new organization. And I think we have a lot in common in terms of bringing the new era to any work that we do. And that's how smart marketers are, right? We are not just stick to the paid channel or the similar mindset, the way things work. You have to find new channels and build it in a way.
absolutely.
Amazing. So, since you talked about MX Player, TVF, so let's get another question for you around that. With your background in entertainment platforms like TVF, MX Player, and Disney Plus Hotstar, how do you think content marketing has evolved? And where do you see it heading in the next few years?
So content, I think content will keep evolving, keep changing as per the change in user behavior. So
Right,
initially there was a time of long form content. People used to sit and wait for episodes. There was
right,
patience. So
right.
when there was patience, there were we had cinema, we had movie halls, we had like, during our childhood, we used to wait for an episode to come every Sunday, every week.
Yeah.
There was a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
Patience was there. Then, in terms of consumer behavior, patience went away. So when patience went away, why did it go away? Because suddenly content increased. There was just too much content. And
Mm-hmm.
when I'm spoiled for choice, I
Mm-hmm.
do not want to wait every Sunday, every Monday, every week. And then suddenly Netflix said, "Oh, people cannot wait, so let's give
Yeah.
them binge." And
Yeah.
binge was introduced to our lives. That
Mm-hmm.
made it even worse, because now we have so much content, and now we can sit and, like, we're told by, like, these platforms that now you can sit and watch and, like, not do anything else, like put your
Yeah.
life on hold. And I remember somebody, like a very good friend of mine, telling me, sometimes I feel your job is to bring people's IQ down, because you're just making them sit in front of the TV and watch content.
Yeah.
And that's not content that increases your IQ. That probably pulls it down. So I think this is what you're collectively doing. As, like, okay, that's a big statement, but maybe
Yeah.
you're not wrong. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a consumer. We're living in the age of consumerism, wherein consuming things is what makes us happy, is what
Yeah.
makes us go, oh, I'm good,
Yeah.
be it anything that we buy.
Mm-hmm.
Then came short form, because now our patience reduced even further. We said, oh, I don't have the patience to watch long form also. I just
Right.
want to keep swiping and just keep entertaining and instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
So then came the time for instant gratification, that if if I'm even opening an app, I should instantly feel happy. So
Yeah.
so even platforms who are basically giving you long form, now
Right.
have to come up with those smaller cuts. Now have to work with influencers to kind of make you, like, they have to do short form to make you watch the long form.
Right.
Movies have to make songs like Toba Toba, and have to make those hook steps, and have to spend a lot of money
Yeah.
on just one song marketing to
Mhm.
make you watch the movie.
Exactly.
So that's the consumer behavior that changed. Now, I think so more than that, so because there was all these advancement and changes happening in consumer behavior, because there was truckloads of content happening. I mean, but you have only 24 hours in a day,
Hmm.
right? How much more consumer behavior can change, because you only have this much of hours, and now you have infinite amount of content. So
Right.
now the next change that I see will happen on the other side, on the content production side, because volume will continue to increase. But how will this volume increase now? Now
Hmm.
with AI. So we say, okay, volume will increase with AI.
Hmm.
So if I were to talk about the future now,
Hmm.
I see that in future we might not even be shooting movies. We might not even be shooting content with real people. We'll be
Right.
signing off deals. So we'll have Shah Rukh Khan come and say that, hey, I want to sign off my face and my voice
I have
this
that.
movie. And it will be like Shah Rukh is actually acting in the movie. So I think it'll all boil down to the IP ownership and rights to the existing set of individuals. When will that happen? I don't know. It will happen 10 years from now, five
Yeah.
years from now, 20 from now. I do not know.
Hmm.
But if we continue going in this direction, this is bound to happen. We already have a lot of AI influencers, which
Right.
are difficult to figure out from the regular creators. So there
Exactly.
was a research that was done on AI influencers,
Hmm.
which said, and as per that research, almost 40% of their followers
Mhm.
like from that set of people, had
Right.
no idea that they were following, and this particular influencer was an AI generated influencer, was not a real person.
Mm.
Now the front face doesn't have to be a real person, doesn't have to be a real individual who has to get in front of the camera, get in front of the, sorry, sit in the makeup room, get
Right.
makeup, has to get ready, has to breathe, has to eat, has to sleep, has to drink water. No,
Yeah.
it's just a code. Like 15 people can power that code and produce content 24/7. So
Mhm.
there truly will be a limitless amount of content available.
Yeah.
But as consumers, we can only watch whatever we can in those 24 hours. So there will be quality over quantity. Quality
Yeah.
will play, it's already playing an important role,
Mm-hmm.
but AI would play an even more important role. Like,
Right.
how do we control that? I think a lot of laws will have to come into place. We would need a lot more um, governance on this piece, on what's
So
should be
true.
done, not be done,
Yeah.
in terms of ethical use of AI, at
Mm-hmm.
least definitely in the content space. We already see a lot of fake news
Mm-hmm.
happening with video AI.
Yeah.
And recently, we've seen very great big examples of it happening with movie stars, with politicians, and some of it just done for fun's sake, but
Mm-hmm.
some of it meant to intently hurt people. So, ethical use of AI in content
Right.
is what we need to discuss and we need to discuss and talk about
Mm-hmm.
uh, as early as probably yesterday, but today's a good time. Like they
Yeah.
say, what's the best time to do something?
Mm-hmm.
It probably was like yesterday or like whatever 1 month back,
Yeah.
but the second best time is today.
Right.
So we can start now.
Let's do it now. Yeah, exactly. But this is really a valid point, especially considering what ever is happening with the tech. It has been created to support us, but I think it has taken the essence of us being humans now.
Yes.
So we have to really think twice before implementing something like this. It might sound fascinating and engaging for people, especially from a marketing point of view. But from a human point of view, I think we are missing that there were always emotions that used to connect us, not the faces. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Coming to the second last question for you. Working with a variety of clients and teams requires a lot of multitasking and adapting to different tools and strategies. What's your go-to approach for quickly mastering a new marketing tool or platform? Because adoption of these tools is definitely a major challenge.
I think first off, understanding what tech stack works for you. So tech stack comes at a cost, any marketing tech stack,
Hmm.
be it for data, be it for content, be it for anything. So there is this whole prevalence that if it's working for someone else, it will work for me.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing to do, whether something which is the new in fancy thing in town, does it
Mhm.
really work for me or not?
Right.
How much customizations can I do on that for myself? So first, whether a tool makes sense or not.
Yeah.
What is the problem that I have in my current tech stack
Hmm.
that I need to solve for? Is this new fancy tool solving that for me? Number
Exactly.
one.
Hmm.
Then only, because any new tool, adopting any new tool needs a lot of training, development, not only for you, but even for your team,
Right.
and in terms of how your processes used to run.
Right.
So in process for any team, it takes time and also takes money. So it's not just you're investing money, it might be the same amount as well, it might be cheaper, but
Right.
there's a lot of time and resource allocation that happens in
Mhm.
training your team as well.
Right.
So number one needs to be aware whether it's a good fit or not. Now, once you've established that this is a good fit,
Hmm.
then comes the question, how do you train your team? So I think the best way to do that is to ask the tool itself,
Okay.
whether, like, how do I learn this tool? Now,
Hmm.
if it's something who are like, if it's a cost center, if it's not a free tool, and I'm not talking about free tools here, I'm talking about paid versions of the tool,
Right.
they will have an onboarding post process. They will
Yeah.
tell you how to do it. Good tools like Jasper, like Wix as well. You guys
Yeah.
have this whole repository, which
Hmm.
is a gold mine of data, that HubSpot, wherein you
Yeah.
can go and learn. So this is
Yeah.
what you need to do, but you need to even pick out things which make sense for you.
Yeah.
So I think tool selection and then learning on the tools is extremely important. And you need to see that for how long will this tool be relevant for me as well?
Right.
Is this how has this tool grown in the last 2 to 3 years?
Hmm.
So is the advancement and change good enough? Is this company, like this company should not tomorrow be at a stagnant stage wherein I am also suffering along with this company.
Right.
So you have to be very mindful. You have to ask yourself the right questions and only then get into the tech stack piece, because
Right.
it is very fancy. It feels very empowering, because that's how we sell SaaS tools.
Yeah.
But this empowerment comes at a cost. So you have to be very, very careful.
Mhm.
And as per a research by Marketo, I guess, there are about more than 10,000 plus just marketing tech SaaS tools
Yeah.
out there, which are
I,
operating in different silos. And,
yeah.
like kind of somebody says, I have the best data. Someone says, I can do this, I can do that.
Yeah.
So you can't learn 10,000 tools. Like, the art is to select which
Mhm.
one works for me, and does it work for me in the
Yeah.
short term only, or
Mhm.
short term and long term, and
Right.
what is the ROI of this business decision.
Mhm.
Only then you do tools. Your strategy needs to be very clear. Tool
Exactly.
is just a
Mhm.
support function.
Right.
So that's my take.
That's a good take, to be honest. A lot of marketers don't have that kind of clarity as well, especially if my friend is using, so I should also use the similar
Yes.
thing. Just
Yes.
just have a proper objective in your head. What exactly are you trying to achieve with this? There might be things that you can do in-house rather than it spending that much. So
Absolutely. And I think tools, like I said, sometimes that problem also doesn't exist. Sometimes we create marketers
exactly.
we have so much of love for tools that
Hmm.
we start believing in a problem, even
Hmm.
if it doesn't exist, because we feel,
Yep.
oh my God, this tool is solving for it. Must be a problem.
Yeah.
If they are making a tool out of this,
Yes.
this is a genuine problem. And then you start feeling, oh my God, I also have this problem. So
Yeah.
I need to look for it, which might not be the reality for you.
Exactly.
So just taking a step back, and you might not need a fancy tech stack. You
Yeah.
might just need 2, 3 tools out there and you're sorted.
Yes.
So instead of running after every new thing, I think it's important to understand what is my problem statement, and is
Hmm.
this problem statement getting solved for or not? And you'll be sorted. You can work with the oldest tool or the something new and shiny, doesn't matter.
Awesome. These are some amazing insights. People will really learn a lot, especially choosing the right tech stack now. Or maybe we should actually keep posting a couple of stuffs on our LinkedIn talking about these things specifically.
Absolutely. I do talk about tech stack. Tech stack has to be very simple.
Yeah.
A complicated tech stack is the worst thing you can do to yourself and your company and your employees. Like, too many tools, there's a lot
Mhm.
of loss of data intelligence that happens. So when
Yes.
we use, not all the tools talk properly to each other.
Yeah.
And that was the thought behind Sprouts as well, that
Mm.
not all the different tools talk properly to each other. And
Yeah.
when you move data from one place to another, there's a lot
Mm.
of loss of data intelligence that happens in between, right?
Yeah.
So how much consolidation can you bring to the table, that your systems are looking seamless,
Mm.
instead of downloading content from data from one place and uploading? Like, that's the worst thing you can do. So if you are in the loop of downloading and uploading
Mm-hmm.
multiple times,
Right.
you need to get out of it. So I think that's my take,
Yeah.
that if my data is not able to talk to each other through the funnel that I've created, the process that I've created,
Mhm.
then this tool is not making sense for me. If I have to upload and download,
Yeah.
like if it's working separately,
Hmm.
only if it's giving me great value then. So even on GPT, I'm doing custom GPTs, right?
Yeah.
I'm creating custom GPTs for us, and that's what we use,
That's
instead
nice.
of just like having separate chats and like getting content out.
Yeah.
So do it in a structured way, and you will find tools that talk to you. So
Yeah. You have to train them to talk to you, to be
absolutely,
precise. Yeah.
absolutely. And if you cannot, then that's not the right tool for you.
Yes, exactly.
It's a marriage. It's a marriage. You're making a family. You
Yeah.
don't want the wrong set of people when you're making a family. So, like in marriage, it's different. It's just one person, and then you create a family. Here, it's
Yeah.
like you're making a family on your own. So, it's like how careful you're supposed to be when you're selecting a team, when you're hiring.
Hmm.
That's the level of carefulness you need to have. Like,
Yeah.
have the HR mentality, like
Yeah.
HR does while hiring. They have all these processes in place, that
Hmm.
whether the person is a good fit for the company or not,
Hmm.
whether they're a good fit for the team or not. I
Hmm.
think Amazon has revolutionized hiring in a great big way, the way they do it. So
Hmm.
there's an entire department just doing hiring, right? That's how important it is to have the right set of people.
Right.
Think about tools in a similar way. They are the family with whom you'll be working and depending on, and they are cost centers to the company as well. Have the HR mindset, have the JD ready,
Hmm.
and do the right interview.
I love the way you put it. It's really good. Seriously. Awesome. since we both are quite passionate about teaching and mentoring as well, so the last question for you is, as someone who's passionate about teaching and mentoring the next gen of marketers, what's one piece of advice you always give to your students?
Keep learning. Like, you're always a student. I'm still a student.
Right.
I still, on an average in a year, I have to do two courses. Constantly keep learning, keep updating yourself. Only then you can stay up ahead in the game. The
That's
game is
so.
changing very fast. And the example that I cite is that of medical profession. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to get say maybe a surgery done, will you go to a doctor who says, oh, I'm going to chop you, cut you open like it used to happen like 10 years back? Or somebody who says, oh, I'm going to do it with a laser and you won't even see a scar,
Yeah.
right? That's the difference. You need to be the person who's using the latest tech, who
Mm-hmm.
has the latest information,
Right.
who's up to date with the latest trends and knows how to do it, knows your way around things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not up to date, then why would someone want to work with you? And then you will be part of that clutter. So whenever there's a race,
Yeah.
there is that the person who's running, or who's almost about to come first, then there are three, four people.
Right.
And especially in a marathon, think marathon when I say a
Mm-hmm.
race, think marathon. So in
Yeah.
marathon, you have somebody who's leading, couple of people who are in the first top 10, top 100, and then there's a whole bunch of people
Mm-hmm.
jogging together, almost
Yeah.
strolling together. So when you think about marketing as a field,
Mm-hmm.
you need to think marathon, and
Mm-hmm.
you need to think whether I need to be in that top 10 or the leader who's running up ahead,
Yeah.
or do I need to be part of that crowd who's strolling, walking, drinking water in between, who
Mm-hmm.
just want to complete the marathon. The idea is just to keep making money, keep going about life. It's okay. And I'm not judging either one of your decisions. It's okay to be somebody who's casually strolling and, doing it. But then there's no entry barrier there.
Right.
Everyone is a part of it. You cannot differentiate yourself when you're in that area of the marathon. But if you want to be that runner, you gotta train. You gotta be the best at it.
Yeah.
If you want to beat those records. So you need to keep training. You need to keep doing courses. You need to keep learning.
That's a golden nugget of advice, to be honest. Coming from someone who has a decade of experience, I think listeners, you got the point. Keep learning. All right. Thank you so much, Swati, for sharing your journey and insights with us. It's been a pleasure having you on Brand Talkies. To our listeners, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, keep building your brand story and stay curious.
Thank you, Tamanna. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Tamanna, for having me today. I truly enjoyed this discussion. And anyone who wants to want to get in touch with me, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. And thank you so much.
Stay tuned for more such brand building insights, and we'll stay connected.